So first thing, I wanted to talk a little bit about where my mentality has shifted from earlier videos. I realized in some of my earlier video diaries, especially those first few, I was in a little bit of a panic. I feel like it may have come off that I was kind of freaking out about how 6 months was not enough time to do what I wanted to do in Tokyo. And even after a couple weeks, I started to realize while 6 months may not be enough time, I am now realizing it is still a lot of time. The amount of stuff that I did in 1 month is mind-boggling. And the amount of stuff I've now done in almost 2 months is even more mind-boggling. And I talked about it in a different video about how there's been all these different eras and chapters, and that is just like crazy to me. And so that just has me excited to see where I'm gonna be in month 3 and 4, 5, and eventually that last month. I think I'm going to end up doing a lot, and I'm no longer freaking out about not having enough time to be here, especially since I've come to the realization that this is not going to be my only trip to Japan, and I very much intend to come back frequently to be able to experience more of the culture, enjoy my time here, and uncover and grow and learn more about myself. So for now, I am just settling into the idea that this 6-month experience is almost perfect, and it's exactly what I needed. Now, one of the things that have been really intense for me has been school, and I was not expecting that. I have some thoughts written down here, so I'm just gonna kind of riff on it. School is way more intense and way more tiring and involved than I realized. And I knew it was gonna be intense. When I signed up for this, I knew I was signing up for an intensive, immersive language course. It's 4 hours of classes a day, at least 2 to 3 hours of homework and self-study. And while that may seem like actually not a lot, the fact of the matter is I'm learning a new language, and that is stretching my brain to levels that really tire me out. I'm using so much mental energy per day. So even if 8 hours, which is a good chunk of time, is still not a full day, those 7 to 8 hours of being in the mode of language learning leave me with very little energy during the week. And even on the weekends, that it's been actually very hard to manage my schedule around that. And that is something I did not expect to have to grapple with, but I have started to figure it out, and I wanted to talk a little bit more about that. For some background, the way my schedule works is that there's 4 hours of classes every single day. They're about 55-ish minutes long with 5-minute breaks in between each class. But the schedule changes every week. I don't know if I'm gonna have morning classes one week, afternoon classes, or midday classes. And so if I have morning classes, I basically get in at 9:30 and we go 4 hours straight, and then we break at 1:30 and you're done for the day. Again, with those 5-minute breaks in between. Same goes for the afternoon. I'm in at 2:05 and I'm out closer to 6. And you're just in the same classroom for basically 4 hours straight with 5-minute breaks in between each class. Middle of the day, it's a 2 hour, then a actual 45-minute lunch break, and then another 2 hour, and then you're done. I am starting to prefer the morning classes way more, even though I don't love how early I feel like I have to wake up to get in the zone to be in learning mode for so long. I like that when I'm done, I'm just done for the day, and I can kind of go to a new cafe, go somewhere fun, and like do the homework and self-study and still feel like I have a good chunk of the afternoon left, even if I'm too tired sometimes to be able to actually like do anything with it. And the classes are so good. I am so impressed with the school. The school is called Genki Jack's. Information in the description down below in case you're curious. I am constantly impressed with how well-paced the classes are. It is so finely tuned that it feels like, sometimes it feels like it's too fast and sometimes it feels like it's a little too slow, but it's like just always ends up being the right amount of drilling. And the amount of drilling we end up doing in each class helps me remember so much more. It's just so well done. I wish I could spend an entire hour talking about the specifics and the minutia of how well tuned it all is. If you want to learn more or like learn more about that, look on their website. Or if you want to hear my experience more about that specific thing, like let me know in the comments below. I'm happy to like make a quick video on it. But suffice to say, it is extremely fast-paced, but it is well-paced. And I always feel like with just the right amount of time, I'm able to always grasp the new material. And that's pretty cool. I never really feel like I'm falling behind too much. Sometimes I do, and then I just work it on myself a little bit, and then I go in the next day and I feel like I'm like right where I need to be. And that is a hard thing to pull off in a class schedule, especially when it comes to like language learning. As of right now, my biggest holdbacks are just like the sheer amount of vocab we are learning at the pace we're learning it. I am bound to just forget certain things, and that becomes a little bit difficult and annoying and frustrating to be like, oh, I just learned this word and it's gone. But the study methods that I'm using to hopefully retain these things like SRS and Anki and all that stuff, it is helping. It's just time consuming and it takes time to really seep in. So besides just the vocab, it's also the kanji. I am still figuring out how I'm gonna like work kanji into my life because it is hard, but it is so necessary and so rewarding when it does click that I really want to get it. It's taken a long time. So other than the challenges of the material, the main challenge, as I've alluded to, has been energy management. I may have time, but I do not have energy. And despite how much I'm trying to sleep as best I can, and I'm trying to like stay pretty rigid with my schedule, I've basically realized during the week, I need to be much more strict with how I use my time and give my time to other people, as well as give my time to other things that I want to do. In order to stay at the pace I want to stay at in these classes, I'm realizing that I need to save a lot of the stuff I want to do for the weekends right now. And that took me a lot of time and a lot of difficult thinking to like really settle with that feeling, because it's really hard to be sitting here at 4 p.m. doing homework and looking out the window and being like, Japan is right there. Like, oh, I wish I could just go out and just do it, but I've got this stuff in front of me. And that is hard. That is a hard conflict, but this is like what I wanted to do. And this is like why I came here, at least for this first chunk. So just learning and trying to like let go of that and being able to commit to it, that's been the challenge. And again, some days I feel like I'm going into class and I'm like freaking superhero and I know all the vocab, I know all the grammar points, I'm crushing all of the grammar, and it's working, and I'm speaking Japanese. I'm like, oh my God, I speak Japanese. And then other times I am not grasping the material. I'm forgetting every single vocab word. Everyone else in the class is just getting it and I'm not. And it's a miserable feeling. And constantly toggling between those two states is freaking draining sometimes. But whenever I feel at like my lowest with the learning, I have to mind myself that even though if I can't read kanji right now, I can read it like an entirely two different other alphabets than like the one I grew up learning, which is English. Like I can read hiragana, I can read katakana, and if I showed my homework to any of my friends back home, they would not understand any of it. And so to me, when I think about that, it's actually insane and reminds me that, okay, what I'm doing is pretty cool, and I actually have come pretty far. And so that's like worth remembering. And plus, the power of actually using the language out in the world is so rewarding. It's like actually insane. It's just so hard to like explain how fun it is and how motivating it is to be able to take what I'm learning and actually apply it to real world situations. Every single interaction that I have with a Japanese person, a local, and I'm using Japanese and mostly succeeding ideally in the conversation, or at least getting across what I'm trying to say and I'm understanding what they're trying to say to me, it is so rewarding and so motivating and reminds me why I'm doing this in the first place. And it's a very tangible feeling of reward and inspires me to continue my learning. It's just when you see someone's eyes light up because they realize that they can understand you or that you're speaking their language, or at least trying to speak their language, it's just such a good feeling. And I'm not meaning to say that you can't come to Japan and like not speak the language, because a lot of Japanese people do understand a little bit of English, if not a lot of English. But I think to me, it's been a very clear change in mood and vibe from a lot of the Japanese people that I've spoken to in Japanese. They open up a lot more. They feel a little bit more connected to the conversation that you're in. And to me, that is extremely rewarding. And like one example that I like really stuck out to me actually recently was I was in Uniqlo, because Uniqlo is amazing here, and I feel like an absolute shill for them now. But it's great because their clothes are durable and high quality and really affordable. And I wish we had something like that in the States, because Uniqlo in the States is a little bit more expensive and nothing in the States fits me, but it all fits me here. But that's a side tangent. And I was talking to the store employee, and when we just started to like have an actual conversation, she introduced herself by her family name, which was on her name tag. And halfway through the conversation, she reintroduced herself by her first name, which my understanding, again, I'm still learning the culture. My understanding is that you use your first name with people you're more familiar with and more friendly with. And that felt like very cool, because I feel like that was not an interaction I'm sure she has with most people who come into the store. And it just like made me feel really good, but it also made me feel like, damn, like I'm understanding and interacting with new people that I wouldn't be able to connect with any other way. And that is really cool. And I've noticed, for the most part, many Japanese people are very patient and kind when it comes to you trying to use your language skills. They will wait for you to figure out what you're trying to say, even if it takes me like what feels like forever to get across my idea or sentence, and lots of etos and and just a lot of just like stops and starts through the sentence, but I'm trying, and sometimes they'll help you along, but like they're doing it in a very pleasant and kind and respectful way. Sometimes you're just going into an interaction and they speak English and they just want to like get the conversation over with, especially in like restaurants or busy places, and they'll just switch to English, and then you're just like, well, and I totally get it. But in a lot of interactions, like the Uniqlo employee, like I mentioned, or a cab driver that I had a great conversation with, they really want to talk to you and they really want to like help you. And they also really want to like learn more English too. So it ends up being this great conversation of like teaching each other words, even in these micro interactions. So all of that's to say, I could go on and on, but using the language here has been really rewarding. It's also really crazy to me to be going into every single new interaction and trying to think in Japanese before going into the interaction. And I've actually caught myself literally talking to friends or like composing a text to a friend, but my brain automatically is trying to switch it to Japanese or like use Japanese before I realize, oh no, this person speaks English. And it's really cool to see my brain just start to like go into this pattern of actually trying every single interaction to use Japanese, every single one. And I like that. I like that my brain is doing that, because it means my brain is just being conditioned to this new way of thinking. And I feel like that's only going to help me going forward. So anyway, I really want to get back to the main thesis, kind of pull it all together about all the things I've learned over the last couple months. All of that about the language and all of that about energy and schedule management has made me realize I've been adapting a lot to a lot of new situations that life has thrown at me. And I'm the type of person who, even though I say I like change, and I actually do, I also emotionally hold on to a lot of things and a lot of routines and a lot of structures. And when things adjust my routine or adjust my structure, I find it really difficult to figure out how to adapt. And thankfully, I feel like I'm starting to figure that out now, and it's a lesson I'm going to be able to take with me beyond just here in Japan. I think with everything I've just talked about, it's been really clear to me that my priorities and daily routine and overall rhythm have shifted to a place that I'm not really used to. And a lot of my own personal stress was caused by trying to hold on to this idea and structure of my day of, you need to wake up at 6 a.m., you need to go to the gym, you need to have breakfast, you need to get to work, you need to be at work for X amount of time, and then go home and make food and do a personal project or relax and go to bed. Like there was a structure to my life for so many years, and my life is so different now. I have homework, my schedule changes. Some days I have the entire morning off, some days I have the entire afternoon off, but I've got all this stuff to do, and it's just constantly shifting. And so for the first few weeks, I was trying so hard to take that shifting ocean, if you will, take that and fit it into this box of where my routines used to be. And that just wasn't working. And the more I tried to make it work, the more stressed that I felt. And so being able to finally let go of that and adjust to the shifts and take my routine and actually adjust it to the new schedule, that's what's made me realize that I'm a lot less stressed now. The more I've realized that it's okay to adapt my routines to what life is throwing at me, the less stressed that I've been. And that is really nice. I'm literally looking at a list of all the things that I've just changed to fit this new routine. I've changed so much about my life, and I'm actually okay with it. And getting myself to be okay with it was hard. I've changed how I approached working out. Instead of like trying to crush it at the gym for 90 minutes, 5 days a week, I'm like, why don't I just cut that down to like 3 days a week, do it more on the weekends, and then during the week I can do other things like yoga and dance and running and other ways to keep my body active that doesn't necessarily need to be at a certain time of day. I've adjusted focusing on cooking meals that are like much easier. I have a much smaller kitchen. It's really hard to cook big fancy meals for myself. So I'm just focusing on like what's easy and what's gonna fuel me and going out to eat a lot more and just letting myself be okay with that. It's okay to not focus as much on YouTube, especially during the school semester. So even though I'm doing this right now, trust me, it took a lot of willpower to like make this recording session happen. And I think now that I'm sitting on a lot of videos, I'm gonna be able to kind of pause it until I finish school at least. It's okay to run on way more coffee than usual. I mean, I usually drink between 2 and 3 cups a day, usually around 2. I'm having 4, sometimes 5 now, and I'm just okay with that because apparently that's what I need right now. It's okay to not game as much. It's okay to not sleep as much as I need to or want to, and just get that minimum in so I can like make my schedule happen the way I want it to. It's okay to miss big blockbuster movies in the theater. It's okay to just not being able to get to everything. And it's okay to also hang out with people and not study as much and then catch up later, which that's another like weird getting into a rigidity again and trying to undo that again. So again, all of that is just me letting go with all of these old ideas that I had for what my day needs to look like, what my life needs to look like, and being like, this is what my life is now. These are what my priorities are now. Here's how I can adjust to actually succeed in those goals and in those priorities. It's okay to let go of certain expectations of myself in order to better fit and achieve the goals and priorities that I've laid out for myself in this season of life. Because it's not going to be forever, but it's what it is right now. And being able to let go of all of those expectations of myself has made me so much more relaxed. So maybe that all sounds kind of obvious, but for someone like me, and I know there's other people like me out there, realizing that and coming to grips with that and trying to be adaptable constantly every single day and be as flexible as I am trying to be right now is a lesson that I hope to take with me, not just through the rest of Japan, but pretty much through my life going forward. And so I'm really happy that I'm learning that lesson right now. For now, I'm excited to just relax a little bit more, focus on what actually serves me, and I'm just really excited to see what other lessons being here teaches me, because I am learning so much, not just how to tackle life, but also just about myself and how I approach things. It's really nice to be able to reflect on things and have that for myself in posterity, in video form. It's nice to be able to literally look back on myself and see what I was going through, but also learn and potentially reteach myself lessons that I might need to relearn down the line. So if you enjoyed or learned something or just want to chat in the comments below, go ahead and head down there and leave a comment. And then also while you're down there, please like the video and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. Thank you again, and I will see you next time.